Okay, we're going to be talking about direct and indirect variation. Now, what you see at the top on this page right here says, recall the constant of variation k is the quotient y divided by x. You can also write the equation for direct variation using the form y equals kx. The result will be a graph which is linear. Okay, with all that mumbo jumbo, basically we need to go back and we need to think about what we did first semester. Okay? First off, we went through and we had a lesson where we were trying to figure out if our data was linear. What does that mean if something is linear? If I looked at a graph, how do I know it's linear? Yes. Makes a straight line. Look in the word. Line. So it makes a straight line. So that one's kind of easy because if it was a graph, it would make some kind of straight line. Okay? Now, what if I was looking at a table? If you were looking at a table with numbers in the x and the y, how did you know if it was linear? If what numbers were the same? The rate of change. So delta y divided by delta x on one, the delta y and the delta x's don't need to be the same, but when you divide them, they had to be the same. Now, by doing that, it made it linear. It made it a straight line. The next thing we did on the next lesson on that day is we went to find out if it was, whoops, let me write the right word, proportional. What does proportional mean? First, you had to find out if it was linear. Then, if it was proportional, it went through something specific. It went through the origin, which was 0, 0. So if something was proportional, it went through 0, 0. Okay? That's how you knew it was proportional, because then all your equation would be an example like y equals 5x, y equals 6x, 10x, because the y-intercept is 0. So what this is saying, not that one, let's go back. So what this is saying is that y equals kx. K is just that fancy word for the constant of variation. It basically is, for making it kind of easier to understand, the slope, okay? It's talking about the slope. The y, there is no y-intercept right here. So the problems that we did in the past, for example, say that I bought 6 boots and they cost me, the total for the boots was $1,800. What would you do to find out how much each pair of boots cost? I would divide, right? So you would take 1,800 divided by 6. So how much were the boots? $300 each, right? My equation, what we did in the past was we had y equals 300 times x. That's exactly what we're doing right now. This is our direct variation. So, because this is actually the k. All it means is that's the amount you went to multiply by. So, for example, if I said I was buying 25 t-shirts, and my total bill was $450. How much was each t-shirt? Calculate that right now. How much was each t-shirt? All you have to do is take 450 divided by 25, and it was $18, right? Okay, so now let's go back here. So now looking at this, take a minute, pause your video, and I want you to try and figure out what is your constant of variation. What is your k? write the equation and try and answer this question. Okay, so in this case, what you're going to do is, it says if y varies directly as x, y is 45 and k is 6. Okay, so I have k equals y divided by x. So basically all I'm doing is taking 45 divided by 6, and you should get 7.5, 750. 7.5. So the constant of variation is 7.5. The equation it was looking for, y equals 7.5x. So if I want to find out what y is when x is 15, you would have done 15 times 7.5, which ended up being what? $15 times 7.5, 112. 112.5. Oh, my pen doesn't want to write here. Okay. All right. I'm going to go down here to the next problem right here. I want you to look at this. It says, if you're watching the video, I want you to pause the video and try and write it. Remember that we have y equals kx. Okay. So k is that slope or that rate of change. So basically it says the power p of a gear varies directly with the radius. So the p equals k times the radius. So find the constant of proportionality. There's the word proportionality. When p is 300, so I have 300 equals, I don't know what that k is, when r is 50. Whoa, why am I writing RO? Try that again. Okay, I'm substituting it in. Basically, all you're doing to find out the k is you're taking 300 divided by 50, which is what? 60. Okay? So now it says find the radius of a gear which has a power of 450. See, if the power is 450, and I know that my constant of proportionality, that k value is 60. It's, 6, my bad. There we go. All right. And then I have my x right here. All you're going to do is take 450 divided by 6, and what do you get? You end up getting 75. So the radius of the gear is 75. Next one. Let's pause this video and then try and answer this question, and we'll come right back to it. Okay, in this case, it says in a factory, the profit P varies directly with the inventory. So P equals K times I, which is the inventory. If the factory has a profit of $100,000, so $100,000, when their inventory is 2,000 units, find the profit for the inventory of 50 units. Okay, so basically I need to find this amount. Where'd we go here? I want to highlight it. This amount right here, I need to find out how much it is. So what I do is I divide this by 2,000. What does K equal? 5 or 50? Right? 3. Okay. So now it says find the profit for the inventory of 50 units. So you would actually be taking 50 times 50. Okay, so how much profit is that? I'm asking. Okay, so you should, your profit ends up being $2,500. All it means is that you should be able to find that direct, that one number of how much, like each shirt, each shoe, or whatever it is, and then you should be able to take that number and plug it back in and find your values. Now, that's direct variation. Oh, where'd it go? Now let's look at inverse. What do you think inverse means? Huh? Inside. Let's do something for a second. Let's go and look. See how it says y equals k divided by x? Let's make up a number. Let's make up k to be 5. And I get y equals 5x because this says the graph is nonlinear. Go in your calculator right now. Go to y equals. Oh, I still hit the wrong button. Let's see. There it is. Go to your calculator. And go to y equals, and let's put in there, oh, let me clear this out. You guys may want to clear your memories based on what people were doing last period. Second plus sign 712. Okay, so I go to y equals, and I'm asking you to put like 5, I'm just picking a random number, divided by x. Press graph and look at it. This is an inverse variation. Okay? It makes a funky graph. So even if I put, it doesn't matter what number you put in there, maybe, I don't know, -4 divided by x. It's still going to give you that funky curve. Maybe what you should do is, why don't we go on our paper and put on there like an example of what it looks like. Oops, I didn't mean to go over there like that. Maybe that would help, and draw the line and make an example. All right, so now we're going to take the formula, and it says if y varies inversely, so y equals k over x, and y is 15, and x is 6. So basically when they give this to you, let's just plug it in. So we're going to have y is 15, and I have k, and x is 6. It wants to know what y is when x is 24. Basically, I need to find that k number right there. Now, this is simple solving equations. How do I find that k? What do I need to do? How do I get rid of this divide by 6? What's the opposite of divide? Multiply. The opposite of divide is multiply. So by doing the opposite and multiplying by 6, this cancels out, and I get k equals 6 times 15 is 90. That's your k value. So now it wants you to find y. So wait, I'm sorry, let's go up here. The constant of variation is 90. My equation would be y equals 90 over x, because this is my formula right there. So it wants you to find, okay, when x is 24. So I'm going to have y equals 90 over 24. And what is y? All you're doing is substituting it in. So you're taking 90 divided by 24, and you get 3.75. Okay. Let's go. There we go. Take a minute. Pause the video. Use the equation y equals k divided by x, and I want you to try and figure out what this is. So in this case, it says the number of hours h it takes for a block of ice to melt varies inversely. So we have this equation for the inverse variation. And I know that h is going to be the number of hours. K varies inversely as the temperature, T. All right. So it says it takes 2 hours for a cubic inch to melt at 65 degrees. So find the constant of proportionality. All you have to do is substitute in there. 2 equals K over 65. So all we did was substitute in the formula. Now to solve from here, this is simple solving from middle school. We multiply each side by 65 because that's the opposite of divide. These cancel, and my k equals 65 times 2, which is 130. Now it says, how long will it take the same volume of ice to melt at a temperature of 40 degrees? Okay, so it wants us to find the time, which is the number of hours, h equals, I know that my k value, my constant of proportionality, is 130, and over a temperature of 40 degrees. So what is h? All I'm doing is substituting the numbers in there. I have 130 divided by 40, and I press enter. And when I divide it, I get 3.25, which is 3 hours. Well, I'd say it like this. It's 3 hours. Yeah, I'll do it like that. 3 hours and 15 minutes. For that to melt at 40 degrees. Well, if you think that's a long time, but think about it. 40 degrees. What's, well, I guess that's not too bad. I was thinking it was a lot colder, but it's still cold. Here's the next one. Using the same equation, y equals k over x. I want you to try and answer this question. Okay. In kickboxing, it is found that the force needed to break the board varies inversely with the length of the board. So that means that the force varies inversely with the length. It takes 5 pounds of pressure to break a board of 2 feet. So 5 pounds of pressure to break a board that is 2 feet long. How many pounds of pressure will it take to break a board that is 6 feet long? So first off, we got to figure out what that K is right there. Okay? So all I did was substitute what they gave me, 5 pounds for the 2 feet. So just I multiply each side by 2. These cancel. And I get K equals 10. Well, so now let's see, it says they want to know the force. And so my K is 10 over a board that is 6 feet long. Well, how much force is that? Take 10 divided by 6. It should be 1.667 or repeating. So that's about 0.66 is the same as 2/3. It's about 1 2/3 pounds of pressure. Okay. All right, so that's what we're doing and putting it in there. Remember that when we are talking about direct variation, that basically we have y equals kx because the y-intercept is 0. It's proportional. It goes through 0, 0. Inversely, the inverse is y equals k over x. It's that divide. It's being divided.